a comment that was made on Facebook the other day about being a submissive woman. They were saying that a submissive woman controls her man, and I agree with that. I think until we begin to talk in honesty and transparency and stop pandering to both sides, especially to the sisters, because there is so much entitlement, and because men have been quiet for so long, and it's been the men that has been quiet were the type of men that y'all really need to be listening to. The men that doing the most talking ain't the ones, they don't have nothing to say anyway.
What's good? It's your boy Quay Price, man, holding it down for Kandid Konvos. Definitely check us out every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. People today, they lazy. Ain't nobody trying to put in no work. If stuff start getting a little rough in the relationship or in the marriage, ain't nobody trying to fix nothing. Like, I mean, that's how people's mindsets are today. Yeah, but that's how I know that folks don't truly understand what marriage was about, because they tap out way too easy. Yeah, you see people fight harder for a job, like they can't go get another one of them in 2 weeks. Yeah, she's talking about these guys coming to these foreign countries and sourcing out these foreign women because they possess these character traits. Yep, they're more cooperative when it comes to a man, or they're more cooperative when it comes to a marriage and a relationship. They're more, nurturing forward when it comes to a relationship. They're more I don't even want to use the word soft, but I'll use the word soft. They're softer when it comes to, these relationships and interactions with men and so forth. And like I said, we definitely got to be honest. We see a difference, right? We see a difference. And I think, Chloe and Tay made some good points earlier. A lot of this stuff is based around money over here in the West. What's good? It's your boy Quay Price, man. Welcome back to Kandid Konvos, man. Appreciate y'all joining us tonight, supporting the platform. I said, if you haven't already, do me a favor, smash that like button. Likes are free. Smash that like button. Also, like I said, help us get into the algorithm. So definitely smash that like button. Yeah, the more you like, the more you comment, the more you engage, the more people we can reach. So yeah, definitely smash that like button for us. Smash that like. Likes are free. Yeah, shout out to all of our supporters over on YouTube right now. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to all our Facebook people as well, holding us down. Man, once again, we couldn't get the platform to where it is today without you. So shout out to you guys, and we appreciate the continued support. But man, so tonight we got Coco on deck. We got Vince checking in early. You want to say anything to the people, Coco? Or you okay right now?
Hey, everybody.
The classic hey. I think Vince muted up. He might not say nothing just yet.
Hello,
there you
hello.
What's going on with you, man?
How are you, beautiful people?
Doing well, man. Trying to get the tan off you. You know how it go.
Okay, the tan off. Okay.
Yeah, gotta get tan off a little bit. Let me see. Beatbox hopping in too.
Sounds good.
For sure. What's going on, B? How you doing, man?
I'm good, guys. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Appreciate you hopping on tonight.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Let me do this real quick while oh man, they coming in quick. Hold on. JR, they coming in real fast. All right, cool. All right, let me do this real quick while I'm thinking about it. Here's the link to join us on the panel. You can drop this in your Google Chrome, your Microsoft Edge. If you're coming through an Apple device, you got to hit that Safari. Man, join us on the panel, man. Get in on these great conversations. Give us your opinion. Listen, we want to hear from everybody. In addition to the video feed here, we also had this link in the chat feeds as well. So you can catch it at the Kandid Konvos page on YouTube or Facebook. You can get it that way. But yeah, either way, let us know if you need the link if you ain't scared to get up here. I said, y'all see these great faces up here. Vince on deck, Beatbox on deck, JR on deck, Coco on deck. They ain't scared. So you ain't got to be scared either. Hit that link, throw your camera on, and let's get into the conversation. And you go ahead and, we all go in and bucket out. You know how we do. But I'll leave this up here for a little bit as we get into the conversation. See who's checking in early. See Donovan in the building. He said, what up, though? Happy Wednesday evening, fam. What's going on, Donovan? Appreciate you hopping on tonight with us. Shout out to Kenyatta in the building. She said, happy Wednesday. What's going on, sis? Appreciate you hopping on with us tonight as well. Let me just say this, man. Shout out to everybody who threw out the little happy birthday to your boy, man. We getting old out here. So I appreciate everybody who threw a little shout out. So we had the sound for a minute. Y'all know when we sit down, everybody be mad. We get the comments. I get the messages. Where y'all at? What time y'all getting on? We had to sit down for a minute, but we back. All right. So I'm going to drop this link for a minute. We're going to get on into this conversation. So tonight we are talking Black people need to grow up. That might be a long shot right there. Let me run that back. Topic for tonight. Black people need to, I'm going to go and slide an F in there. Black people need to grow the F up. I'm going to put it just like that. So that's what we talking tonight. All right. So we got a few videos that came over. There's a couple of them. I think, let's see. Vince got something in here. IT got something in here. And we're going to go and start out with this first one right here.
I don't like women anymore. I don't think that men desire us women anymore, us real women. I don't think that they value us like they used to. Men aren't really putting out effort. They're not putting out any type of effort like they used to. Taking a girl on a date becomes an issue. Spending money on a woman is an issue. You should have your own money as a woman. Going out to do something fun is an issue. Why don't you just come over to the house and we could do something in the house? I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm from New York. But I see women all over the globe complain about what's happening with men nowadays. Is it women that's not making themselves desirable anymore? Because there are beautiful women out here, beautiful women, ambitious women, caring women, nurturing women who are outside looking for love, and men that just can't keep up with that. Like, they're not communicating with them. They're not willing to hang out and do fun things. What happens to the fun in life? What happened to life being exciting and fun and, going out and discovering the world? What are y'all doing? What are y'all men doing other than that? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Like, what are all y'all men doing? What are y'all doing? if it has nothing to do with a woman? What are y'all doing? Are y'all working? Because we're working too. Women are also working, and we still can do things. We still can go on vacations. We can still go out to eat. Why are us women going on vacations with our friends? We're going on vacations with our friends. We're going out to eat with our friends. We're going to do fun things outside with our friends. We're celebrating birthdays with our friends. Where are y'all? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Where are you guys? Where are you? Where do you guys exist?
Wow.
Okay. So yeah, tonight we are talking Black people need to grow up. Let me get this comment, then I'm gonna come to the panel. Kenyatta said, girl, people have to work and pay bills. Men ain't always got time for fun. Yeah, that's real right there, Kenyatta. I appreciate that comment right there. Let's see. Donovan said the women for the streets are out in the streets. The humble homebodies are in the crib. You got to pose as a Jehovah's Witness to find the good ones today. LOL. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. But you do got a point right here. You do got a point. All right. So yeah, we talking Black people need to grow up. You know what I'm saying? Some of these videos are centered around some of the things that we're saying. And yeah, we just got to get it together. But I'm coming straight to the panel, man. Coco, Vince, JR, Beatboxer. Anybody come off mute, man. Tell me what you say to what old girl just said. Is she making sense, or is she just on some more of the nonsense? Y'all tell me what y'all hear. Anybody can come off. Just unmute and say what you want to say.
I'll jump in.
Go ahead.
So I'll just kind of I'll go over a couple of her points, right? She said women are having fun with their friends. They're going on vacation with their friends. They're going out with their friends. And I would just like to inform her that men are doing that too. You know, men are just going to have beers with their friends. And, you know what I'm saying? They're watching the game with their friends. Men are still having fun. They're just not having fun with you. Men haven't stopped living their lives. They're no longer living their lives for you. See, at one point in time, a man's life might have revolved a little bit around a woman. But y'all messed that up. Y'all became undesirable with your bad attitudes, and you're so ambitious. You're so ambitious to the point where you're making men feel like, when do they have time for money? For fun. They're making money, right? You guys want them to have money. You're now telling men that they need to have it all figured out by 30. That they need to have all the money by 30. You need to tell them that they at least need to be on the track by 30. This is what you're telling them. Now, you don't have it all together by 30, but you're telling them that they have to. So when will they have time to have fun? When do they have time to have fun? They got to figure out how to make money. Let's just go there. When do they have time to go to school? If you're telling them they have to have it all together by 30. You're talking about Black men and men in general aren't enrolled at the same rate as women. Well, when are they supposed to have 4 years? They don't have 4 or 5 years to just go to school. Because you're saying they have to have their lives figured out by 30. So when are they supposed to go to school, have fun, and make money? And have it figured out by 30. I mean, we all have 24 hours, but you know, let's just be so for real. Like they have to sleep at some point, right? I mean, I don't think that sometimes when we say things as women, we understand what we're actually saying. You can't say you want an ambitious man, but then he's supposed to have all this time to have fun with you. Make it make sense. And then she talked about there's ambitious women out here, they're nurturing and they're caring and all of this and all of that, right? But then she turns right around after that and says men can't keep up. That's not nurturing. That's not caring. That's not considerate. I mean, let's just be so for real. That what you don't understand is that type of attitude is a lot of the reason why men are just like, I'll keep my money and I'll just go out with my friends. That's why they're saying that. Because on one hand, you are beautiful, you are smart, you got a great career, but then that attitude, baby girl, make sure you're not presenting that same energy when you're talking to a man. Because as attractive as you are, that's a red flag. Why does he need to keep up with you? It's not a competition. So I think that sometimes when we make these types of statements and we're having this conversation, I feel like we're not really, I don't think we're tapped into how that is received by the opposite sex. Same for men. When men are making certain statements and saying certain things, I don't think they understand how that comes off to the opposite sex. I just don't think so. So, I mean, I'll land there, but I just think that, the video, while I understand her point, I feel like it was tone deaf. It was tone deaf. Like, I feel like she's only looking at it from the female perspective. And I just feel like women aren't listening enough when men are speaking and when they're answering these questions, because I feel like men have answered this question. I feel like men have spoke on this. And I just feel like women aren't listening because they see it the way they see it.
Okay, no, I appreciate that right there. Man, anybody else? Just come off mute. Vince, Beatboxer Cole, JR. Oh, we got wait, hold on. Is that Isha? Wait a minute. Isha, is that wait? Hold on. Come off mute real fast. Let me make sure your audio. What's going on? How you doing? Oh, she went back. Okay, all right. I just want to make sure your audio was working.
I almost forgot.
No, it's all good. Appreciate you hopping on with us tonight. We just getting started. All right, cool. I don't know. Anybody else? Beatboxers? Go ahead, Vince.
Our social skills are weird nowadays. My wife just went out with her single girlfriends last week to a 35 and over affair. It was a derby type of thing where you had to dress up and put your hat on. It was like a Met Gala Detroit style. So she went and she was saying that people don't talk anymore. The ladies are stone faced, the guys are weird, and it's like they group up and you at places, you say you want to find somebody, but ladies sit around and I hate this hustle mentality. When I can't even remember the last time I seen the people just social. I don't know if y'all old enough to know what a social was.
Oh, I know.
Just dance. You ain't got to do the ballroom cowboy, where them fans at, and just a man and a woman on the floor, two vibing, two stepping. The only time people dancing is when they play Tamia. And all the ladies grouped up, they on their phones. So a guy gotta feel like, oh, I gotta kind of navigate through these ladies and they stone face. You don't smile. If a guy say, no, you got a pretty smile. Well, I gotta smile. What I gotta smile for?
Right.
So I think the social aspect, I told ladies, if you really try to find somebody, just smile. Just smile to every man that you see. I don't care who it is, because you'll get in the habit of being pleasant.
Right.
And these men understand, well, if I'm not where she want me to be, then why should I talk? If I'm not six figures, if I don't have it all together, if I feel like, hey, Remy.
Hi.
What's going on?
So I just think these social skills are really weird and we just don't know how to communicate. Then social media has made it to whereas people are online too much. They don't know how to operate when they see somebody, especially when you're going out. Because then it's like women, when I was trying to date or whatever, I might see a nice lady. And then men feel like, well, these well, don't bother me. I'm out at Well, I thought you said you want. Well, I'm shopping, or don't bother me. I'm stone faced. Well, just be pleasant,
Right.
And then guys have gotten lazy too. It's a lot of perceived options. They can get online and fall in a DM, or
No, that's real right there. I got a comment for you right here. Just came in, Vince. So see, Kenyatta said, Vince, I think these ballroom dances are a part of the great divide. You know what, Kenyatta, I have to agree. So to Vince's point, I am of that age bracket. And yeah, you used to be able to just connect with a young lady on the dance floor. Y'all just slow dance, talk, you know what I'm saying, and get to know each other in your own little personal little space. But I do agree with you. Some of this ballroom and stuff, I notice how it works. It literally would separate the men from the women. Yeah, to Vince's point, you know what I'm saying? The ladies group up, they be out there, yeah, you do, yeah, girl, teach me this one, show me this one. And then the fellas be off somewhere else. Yeah, but to his point, when it was socialing and all of that, that wasn't the case. Everybody was locked up with each other. So yeah, there's some validity to what you're saying right here. And I noticed that early on. So appreciate that comment right there. Beatbox, you trying to come off, man? Is that you?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I actually, so I agree with Coco, and I also agree with Vince. Another thing for me that I don't think a lot of, I don't want to be mean, but men don't date community property. So a lot of women are for the streets and for the community, and a lot of men know that. And that's not somebody I'm going to date. Sorry. I'm going to have fun with that. Now I can't because now I'm married, but it just is what it is. So, sorry, like it just is what it is. That's kind of where we're at. And to a degree, it goes for men too. But I'm not going to date somebody that I know everybody else has had a turn with. No offense to ladies out there. This is what it is.
Okay, we appreciate that right there. Let me check in with Cole. Let me check in with JR. I know if y'all want to say anything. If you want to, just come off. If not, I'll get right back on into it. I know Isha on here as well. I know if you want to say something, Isha. I said, whenever you want to say something, just come off mute, say whatever you want to say.
Okay.
Go ahead. Oh, you want to? Oh, okay. Yeah, whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready. I know you new to this whole little hookup right here.
Yeah.
It's all good. Well, let me say this. The reason for the title tonight, black people need to grow up, right? So we see so many instances of why we need to grow up. Like I said, this video is another example of it. The first thing that the young lady said is that she doesn't think that black men still like black women. And it's like, when y'all gonna let that go? Yeah, when y'all gonna let that excuse go? When y'all gonna try to let that, because I can't get the word right now. I know there's a word for that. No, projecting. That's the word I'm looking for. It's like, when are y'all gonna let that go? Yeah, what black man out here told you that he don't like black women? Like, let's keep it a buck. And if he did tell you something like that, what's the context? Did he say it had something to do with that attitude? Did he say it had something to do with that mouth? Like, what's the context of why he may have said something like that? Because I'm just be honest, I don't know a lot of black dudes going around talking about they don't like black women or don't want black women. Now, I do hear them say some of the stuff that they see from the women they don't like. Yeah, but I do hear some of the guys say, you know what I'm saying? I'm not looking to settle down because this stuff is unstable. And these ladies, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to actually build with a man and have something long term. So I'm just going to fall back. Like, I hear stuff like that, but I've yet to hear a black dude going around talking about he don't like black women. I haven't heard that. So I'm like, at some point, we got to grow up and let that excuse go. Yeah, maybe you interpret it that way or feel that way because it's you. Yeah, maybe that needs to be the first consideration versus talking about what black men don't like. Because we all know that most of the time, y'all don't ask us. Y'all don't ask us what we like or where we stand with it. Y'all just make assumptions for us. Or then better yet, y'all will tell us what we like and don't like. And most of the time, y'all get it wrong. Yeah, so maybe we get up off of that, grow up a little bit, and sometimes look inward first, to look at ourselves first before we get to talking about what the opposite sex and men don't look, because that's some awesome nonsense. The other thing, a couple points that the young lady made, that she said, it becomes a problem with a black man when it comes to, taking a woman on a date. It becomes a problem, when it's got to do with some money. It becomes a problem when it's, about having some fun. And I'm like, once again, where you getting that from? If I see brothers out here burning up all type of bags, like, let's just keep it a buck. Yeah, they will take you to these restaurants. They will spend this money. They will buy these bags. We already know this is how this go. Yeah, but especially if they know somebody watching them, they're going to make sure they do it because they need that ego stroke. So I'm like, some of this stuff, once again, that this young lady is saying, it's just like, it doesn't add up. And I said, for me, it sounds like a lot of excuses. Another thing that she said these black women is outside looking for love. I got to disagree. Yeah, that's the last thing that I hear. I rarely hear, and I said, I'm just going based on what I see and what I hear. Yeah, but from what I see and hear, I rarely hear our women talking about they looking for love. It typically starts with some money. It typically starts with some aesthetics, how tall this dude is, how attractive he can get. I've heard it down to, I don't want to mess with a dude if he ain't got a beard. Like, I done heard all type of stuff. But then the young lady want to try to frame it like all these women just out here desperately looking for love. And I'm like, but that don't sound right according to what you're saying. Y'all out here in the streets having fun. Y'all taking trips with the girls. Y'all brunching every other day. Girl trip this, girl trip that. So I'm like, where's all this time that you got all this time you looking for love? I'm like, that don't add up. And then the last point that she made, and I said, this is why I know we got to grow up. In this particular video alone, she said fun at least 3 times. And I'm like, guy, you're killing me right now. It's like, at what age? I understand living life. I understand enjoying yourself. But it's like, at what age are we going to stop depending or prioritizing this fun so heavy? Yeah, it's like we let this fun overshadow everything. Everything is about fun. And I'm like, okay, I know we did the fun when we was younger. And I said, don't get me wrong, as an adult, you still can have fun. But we also got business to handle. Bills got to get paid. People got to get taken care of. So sometimes fun is not the priority. Yeah, the money might be a little tight this week. Well, we're going to have to pass up on this fun till next week. Yeah, and that's just being grown. Yeah, but I continue to hear that. It's always fun, fun, fun. Bored, bored, bored. It's like it's always the same stuff. So yeah, we just, like I said, once again, man, we got some growing up to do.
Then also,
Yeah, we got some growing up to do. Go ahead, Vince.
Let me chime in. I was talking to a young lady at my workout, and I think she's about 42, no kids, never married. And she was talking about relationships, and she said she had 2 guys. She was trying to decide which one should she date. So she was asking another young lady that I work out with, and she's in her early 30s. And she said, well, why don't you date both of them? So I had to hold myself. I ain't say nothing because, my wife tell me, stop interjecting yourself if they don't ask you. So she asked me, and I said, well, which one do you like? She said, well, the one guy, he's retired and he doesn't work. Well, I want him to have ambition. I want him to do something. And I said, well, what difference do it make if what he does if he's able to take care of himself? Well, do you want kids? Well, no, I don't want any kids. Well, do you want to get married? Well, I'll marry if he wants to get married. I said, have you really sat down and thought about what you actually want? And then she gonna say, well, can I have it all? I said, no. Not at your big old age of 42, you can't have it all.
Not at 42.
And then 2 guys, the one guy, he doesn't work and she feels he should be ambitious. And she's not, I think she's Ghanese. So it's an issue because well, if I bring him to my family, I said, who cares about your family at your big old age of 42? You ain't having no kids. And the thing about it, he was retired from the military. So he probably was in the military for 30 years. Then you can retire at 50, 51, 52. Then the other guy is younger, but he works a lot. He don't have no time. I said, well, you have to choose. Either you want a man, well, can I have them both? And I think that they don't really think about what they really want. And it's like they dating like they 21 or 22 right. And you 42. I was like, don't you know you 42 years old now?
Sounds like community property to me.
And then they listen to these women who just will not tell them the truth. The young lady was listening to her, and I could see it in her face, like she was looking at me. Is she really saying this? But she wouldn't tell her, girl, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
She wouldn't tell her that. She's like, well, maybe, you might find that, everybody different. Everybody different. Everybody don't want the same thing. And I'm like, you even looked at me like, what the fuck is she talking about? I said, well, then I said, okay, if the world was to end tomorrow, who would you want to spend your last night with? She said the man who was retired. I said, well, that's your answer. See how that works out. Have a conversation. I said, well, how much money make? So I said, if he's a millionaire and you want to sit at home and scratch his balls all day, what difference do it make? You ain't trying to have no kids. Well, I want to build. Well, what are you building without no kids? It was just sounding so stupid. It's like it's frustrating a lot of times. I'm like, who do y'all talk to? You don't talk to people that's going to really tell you the truth.
Right. Yeah, now I got to agree with you on that last point, man. It is frustrating. I said, that's the title. I said, we really got to grow up at some point. Yeah, because I said, some of the stuff that we're doing, it's like we can't even see that the way we moving is why we by ourselves. It's like we can't even see it. Some of the stuff that we say, it's just like some of the stuff I hear some of the young ladies say today. It's just like, it's like you do know men listening to you, right? Like you do know my man over there at the bar. I see you over here at Applebee's. My man at the bar, two seats over with that little Corona. He listening to you, right? And just trust and believe he not gonna holler just based on what you just said. Like we just don't even consider that. Yep, and the same with some of the fellas. You know what I'm saying? The ladies paying attention. Yeah, they see you at the cigar bar over there smoking your little stick, but they listening to you talk. And you done said some clown stuff. And she just done bloop, bloop, it's over, bruh. Like she ain't giving you no hollers. She don't want you buying no drink. Well, I don't know. They might still let you buy the drink. But she don't really want your drink. She gonna take it, but she don't really want your drink no more. Yeah, she ain't trying to see what you smell like no more. Like it's over with, bruh. So it's like we just gotta consider some of the stuff that come out our mouths and some of these videos that we make. Yeah, it's like your husband, your future possible husband might watch this video. Then he like, nope, she ain't getting no proposal. Like we just gotta, we gotta grow up. All right, I got a couple more down here, man. If y'all ain't got nothing else on this one, I'm gonna keep on running them through, and then we'll keep going.
Hey sis, meet me on the porch. At this point, I need everybody to meet me on the porch. I need the black women, I need the white women, and I need the black men. This is some seriously real shit that I am utterly disturbed by, and I am just tired because I don't understand why there's this major attack on black women. So this video, if it goes into a part 2, not a problem. I'm about to ram it up. I was in the barbershop today, and it was a young black male come in there. He might have been between that 22 to 24 age group. Very handsome, very, very handsome. So I believe he's might have just been coming back from college or graduating or whatever the case may be, because they were happy to see him when he came in. So he sits down, and so they're just just talking, what's going on? And he's giving an update. He's graduated, he's got an engineering degree. Oh my God, I'm over there on the proudness. I'm in the background. I don't know him. I'm just kind of sitting down, listening to what he's saying. So the barber begins to get filled in on him. What's been going on? This and that. And he says, I'm coming back. I'm getting married. So everybody, great. And I'm so on the side being so nosy and over there like a proud auntie. I don't even know this young man, right? So they start to kind of converse amongst each other and they're talking. And so the young man says, yeah, I'm having a little problem. It's a lot going on because I'm marrying a white woman. And my family, they're not too happy about it. So the barber and everybody was like, oh, well, to each his own and this, that, and the other. So the barber was just kind of speaking to him and he said, hey, where'd you meet her? And he said, oh, I met her in college. And he was like, oh, okay, because, back in the day you had all the girls, what made you decide that she was the one? Like, what made you want to marry the white girl or the white woman? No, with no disrespect. So what this young man said after that is what just literally took me out the game as a black woman, as a black mom, in general. So he says that, he come from, of course, the hood and had a hard knock life, just with one mom and no dad and that same shit. Like, don't nobody I hate the fact that is such a stereotype. We hate it too. But so he goes off to say that when he went to college, it was a college that was mixed, but more so of a white college. And he start, meeting up with white friends and, they introduced him to another whole world that he didn't know existed, and the young girl, she became a friend and then introduced him to their family. And when he goes over there, they're all married. The parents is married and they have a really good home and they do things together and they communicate. It's just a good energy, a good vibe. And this man said, I never knew this side of life. My life was always loud and chaotic and always disruptive with my family. So the young man said, he would go over there and they would go on vacations. They would have Sunday dinners. When they had cookouts, there was no fussing, no fight, no arguing. It was just all love and vacations. I was thrown at what this young man was saying in regards to what he seen and what he witnessed being with this young lady and this new side of life. And so he said that,
Yeah, and I'm gonna hold it right there. Let's say I know sis, she running off for a little bit. I don't want to go too long. All right. Let me get this comment then. I'm gonna go and propose this question. Let's see. I was doing something. Let's see the young man. Let's see. Kenyatta said the young man saw peace. Okay. All right. I'm gonna leave it right there. I see Beatboxer. He look like he queued up something. I don't know. Beatboxer got this look on his face. Beatboxer, do I need to pose the question or you just about to come off mute, man? What's going on? JR, I see you hot too.
Let JR go. Let JR go first.
Let JR go first, brother. You're on your own. I ain't got no what girl no more.
No. You went off mute. You went off mute.
No. I'm just gonna help you out. Just no, you're on your own. I ain't
yeah, I don't mind about that. I could be on my own. I'm cool with that. Yeah, this is like a tale of the oldest time. Look, I mean
I didn't grow up, Beatbox. It's your time to shine, and what they said, man.
So I didn't grow up, and my family, especially my father's side of the family, is pretty white. Let's put it that way. Like it's like most of my family members on my dad's side are married and all that. But on my mother's side's chaos. So I got both. But both of my parents are married, so I got to see that. But I mean, I get it far too often. A lot of black men and young black men, when we talk and we get together, this is a conversation we have that A lot of times, if we have experienced something outside of ourselves, it's usually a little bit more peaceful. There's a lot less chaos. And I know it gets real tricky talking with Black women about it because they get, well, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? Like, listen, I'm not saying all y'all. I'm just saying there's just too many where like I can't be. It's not peaceful. There's a lot of stuff that's crazy stuff that goes on. That, and to be fair, I've said this before that some of it's because Black men don't stand on business. A lot of Black men will allow disrespect and the chaos to happen. So, versus trying to stop it and saying like, hey, setting boundaries with people. So a lot of that, to be fair, is a Black male problem. But as a Black man who's married to a white woman, I have to concur with the young man at the barbershop. It's just different. Not only just different, it's just, you're just not going to deal with a lot of the stuff, some of the same things that in the community with melanated women that you're going to deal with other women. It's just true. And that's unfortunate. I'm not saying that there aren't white women or Hispanic women or Asian women who aren't horrible people, because there's a lot of them too. But I don't know, man. It's just a little bit different. I saw that comment, go get an introverted Black woman. No offense, but a decent amount of those introverted white Black women are not attractive enough. Let's be honest. That's something that we don't want to talk about. Just like, geeky Black men that say, oh, he a geek, right? He's a nerd, right? Educated lame, right? When we say, hey, you should get that guy. Oh, he don't, he's not tall. He don't have the muscles. So let's not do this. Let's not do that. We know the deal. Let's stop. The introverted, nobody wants no matter what race, a lot of guys aren't into women who are introverts and, oh my God, no, man, no. You got to rock my world a little bit in the bedroom, just a little bit. And we know introverted women aren't into that.
That's not
true. Be honest. I'm just saying in general. That's why Shannon Sharp like what he liked. I'm not defending him, but I'm just saying. That girl was introverted.
I got to push back. I got to push back on something that you said.
Uh-oh.
I got to push back on something that you said. Okay. Now, I don't have a problem, honestly, with your general sentiment. Okay. I don't. There's just one point that I got to push back on. Okay. I think you capping. I think you capping when you say that, and I'm only going to do this because you made the comment about the introverted Black woman. Okay. I don't see that. I see not all, but I see a lot of y'all Black dudes. Y'all don't go get the bad white chick. Y'all be having the let me find a nice word. She don't be pretty. She don't be cute like that. The black women that you had options to be with, be putting these women to shame. Y'all get the ones that might seem like they not desirable to their own. That's what it seemed like. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not saying you did that. I don't know your wife. I ain't seen your wife. Beauty is an eye of the beholder. But since you gonna make that bold of a claim, then you're gonna have to explain to me why it seemed like when I see Black dudes that be stepping outside of the culture, which by the way, if you do that, you do that. I don't judge people based off of that. I really don't care. But if you gonna do that, don't be talking about the introverted Black women and how they look, because y'all be getting them white chicks, and I'm sorry. I be looking at them white chicks y'all be picking, and I be like, I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm like, y'all want to talk about the Black women? Okay. No, this is one that no, sir. No, listen, sir.
I was comparing.
That's it. Put it up. That's it. They be basic. They be as basic as they can come. Now, when you want a Black chick, though, Black chick got to be stacked. Okay, she got to be a brick house. But then Becky can be basic. And I just want to know why. Why is the standard different? Why Becky can be flat? She can be pasty. Becky can be all kinds of red in the face. Becky can even have a little, she can have a little hip action, and it ain't the hips that curve either. Okay, Becky could be a little SpongeBob SquarePants-ish, but sis, you know, you ain't gonna mess around with a sis that's SpongeBob SquarePants. Y'all
That's
not
not
gonna
true.
do it. Y'all,
That's not true.
we
Most
speaking about
most
the general. We speaking about general, right? We speaking about general.
you
In
think the
general,
average you think the average black woman stacked? Do you?
y'all are not
No,
messing
no, 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 no. Oh,
compared
okay,
to
answer
Becky.
that.
Compared
No,
to
no,
Becky,
I'm talking about in shape. Or is
I'm
the average
comparing
black woman in
because you
shape?
compared.
I'm asking you
I'm
percentages.
comparing because you compared.
How many what's the percentage of black women who are overweight?
I mean,
80%.
there's
80,
a
80%.
large
There's
percentage
not
of
even
black women that are
there's not
overweight.
even
I'll give you
it's not
that.
yeah, it's not even comparison.
I give you that.
It's not
But
even
I didn't say
comparison.
overweight. That's not. Don't move the goalpost. I didn't say
No,
overweight.
you said
I
that
said
the average
y'all be
that
getting the basic Becky's, meaning while you're talking about how these introverted black girls look, I hear you. I
Mhm,
hear you. You talking about the
mhm.
introverted black girl? That's your opinion. But I'm just simply saying that we could talk about the introverted black girl. Okay, she's not hot like that. I'm just simply making a point that the basic Becky's that I be seeing y'all with don't be hot like that either. They don't be hot like that. They don't be hot like that either.
The race that doesn't even I don't like introverted no matter what it looks like. I don't care what it looks like. If you're introverted, I'm not feeling that. So I'm not making that as a racial thing. I'm saying introverted, period. I compared the introverted to the educated lamb. I'm talking about men and women, right? That's the conversation. I'm not talking about the black women and like, listen, let me make this clear. The average black man, if he's dating a busted Becky, he's dating a busted black woman too. More than likely. Like I said, like that's not water's going to generally seek its own level. It just is. So if he's dating, if he's, and this does happen when black, oh, she's better. She's like, dude, she looks just like Keisha over there. Like, what are we talking about? But like, so that's a different conversation. I'm not saying that. I think those are two different conversations. That how somebody comes across in personality wise and looks is different than what I'm talking about as far as how different groups of people in general and racial dynamics like interact with one another, and including how the genders interact with one another. Right. So that's what I was trying to say. But I'm not saying all things like I'm just talking about in general, right? I don't care. Like if you're like my wife is not introverted at all. She's very spritzy and sometimes too bubbly and annoying to me. But you know, it is what it is. It comes with the territory. But yeah, like I don't know. If you're an introverted black girl, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel.
Okay. And let me be clear. I don't listen. I'm not tripping about the introverted part. Like I'm not tripping about that part because I agree with you that personality is personality. Now, if we were talking about personalities, then you would have me there. Because unfortunately, I think that as black women, we in general, we have this kind of chip on our shoulders that affects our attitude. So if we were talking about personality, I totally get, I would be right there with you. I'm just more speaking to just the looks, not the personality traits, because that's really hard to, we can go back and forth, but it just wouldn't be, there's no way to really, you know what I'm saying? Because that's completely different conversation. But if we're talking about the looks department, and I'm not talking about you, I'm only speaking to the point you made, right?
You're right. Sure.
The point that I'm speaking to is, and I don't know that you can answer this because you're only one person, but I will say this. I personally don't have a problem with anyone who wants to date anyone wherever they are, whoever they are, whatever culture they're a part of. I'm not that person. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But the only time I have an issue, and you didn't say this, but I've heard some other black men say this, right?
Sure.
Whereas they'll say, they'll speak of a black woman's looks in comparison to a white woman, right? And the problem that I have with that is I have known some black men that actually are, if in our community, we would call them the good ones, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? Great job, well-educated, seemingly got it together, nice attitude, whatever. And they'll decide to date outside the culture, which once again is fine. But as I'm gonna be honest, as a sister, I'm looking at the ones they pick and I'm going,
Yeah,
that's
but
your
she might be
choice.
nice. But she
Like
might be nice.
that's
That's the thing. Like that, a lot of guys,
she.
marriage, having fun,
I wish
community
that was
property versus
true.
marriage
I
is
wish that
different.
was true. I wish
Community
that was
property.
true. I wish
I'm
that
just
was
saying.
true, Beatboxer.
I'm just saying. I'm just
If
saying.
that was
Oh, go ahead. My bad. I interrupted. I'm sorry. My
no,
bad.
no, no, it's okay. It's okay. No, I'm okay with we having a back and forth. It's cool, but
Right.
I'm okay with that if he's saying it's the personality, right? Because you got me there.
Right.
But when you know some personally, and that ain't there either, then you're like,
What are we doing?
what happens? Like you can't answer this for me probably, but I
I can't.
literally be wanting to know why when y'all cross over, not all of y'all, but some of y'all, when y'all cross over, and I'm looking at the product of it, and I'm going,
Yeah, I can't speak to that because almost
I
every
don't
guy
get it.
every black guy that I know, in my lived experience, the wives are either who are dating outside or married outside their race. Their wives are in shape and are nice people. I don't even know. I don't know any guy. I'm just me personally. So I don't want to go back and forth with personal like what I've seen because it's not fair, right? Because we just can't have a conducive conversation. I'm like, well, I don't see that, right? Because there's no real way to like kind of like fact check that. Which one's looking like this? Which one has a stupid like? It's just
Right,
hard to do that. So
right.
So let me tie it back real fast. I say because we talking black people need to grow up, right? So I think once again this subject falls in that space. Yeah. So is this a space where black people need to grow up? Yep. Do we need to let the narratives go? Because I said a lot of people in our community have existed in some of these narratives where we like to compare, black women to white women. I've heard some dudes say white women is better. I've heard, like I hear all type of things, but then at the same time, we see the situations out here where, the white women taking advantage of the brothers, getting over on them, setting them up, all type of nonsense. But then I'll still hear in instances that white women are better. And I'm like, is it a white versus black thing? Is it just the person with the right personality, regardless of what color they are, the one that's attractive, regardless of what color they are, what race they are? It's like, is this an area? Because I said, we use this. Yep, I've even seen some of our women compare us black men to white men. Oh, this white man is better than you. He got more money than you. He more successful, this and that. But then I hear stuff on the flip side. Oh, well, this brother, he's better than the white man because he laying it down in the bedroom and he this and that and blah, 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 blah. So I hear all of this stuff. And I said, a lot of this stuff is in our fabricated culture today, right? And we believe some of this stuff. Yeah, so I'm wondering if this is one of those spaces where we need to grow up, where we really need to look at how we looking at this and really what's in our minds and if it's accurate or if it's just what we think it is versus what reality is. Go ahead, Vince.
I think too, we got to put some parameters around it. We're talking about the black men that most women want. Let's start there first. The black men that most women want. The problem is the culture. The problem is how we raise our sons and daughters. Give you a perfect example. Michelle Obama. She was on the podcast talking to Taraji P. Henson, talking about she got to get her life back. She felt like she got to find herself. She struggled being in the White House for 8 years. She didn't want to go to the Trump because she felt like she was going to take her person back. Now I'm thinking, you were married to the greatest black man in America. Sitting by his side, you can really do whatever you want to now. And that still wasn't enough. She was the only one there who wasn't with her husband. The only one. And he called Hillary, what? Thieving Hillary or crazy Hillary? And she's sitting there with Bill. Bill got some head in the White House, but his wife is still sitting there with him. So I think the problem is these ladies don't understand the men that y'all want. Y'all gotta cooperate and be on his page, period. And if you don't want to be on his page, then go find you a 50-50. See, that's the problem. I'm looking at, I'm like, you Michelle Obama, the second greatest woman in the world. Barack wasn't enough? Oh, I gotta find myself. I was struggling being in the White House and not being able to have my say and have my own mind and then to rise you like, yeah, girl, because we got it so bad. The black woman just got it so bad. You had to raise them girls in the White House with your mama. And I'm like, are you serious? Barack Obama ain't enough. It's the culture. And it ain't even about black and white. You got to understand, 80% of our women are being raised without a male authority in the household to respect, to provide for her. So there is a level of trust and cooperation that some women have never seen. I told you when I was, and I'm going to try to make it short. I went up to Lansing with my homeboy. We were going to UD. He had a girlfriend at Michigan State who was Caucasian. We went up there for breakfast. I'm thinking, we got to take the girl and her girlfriends out to IHOP. We get there, she cooking breakfast. She got fresh squeezed orange juice. Vince, you need something? Like, what the fuck? Where you get her from? I'm like, biscuits? Vince, Vince, you need to freshen up. Here go a towel. Going in the guest bathroom. I'm like, what the? But then I went to her parents' house in Fowlerville Country. Fuck, all her brothers and sisters are married. Her parents been married for 50 years. It's just a different level of respect and appreciation. See what I gotta appreciate him for. It's a different level of appreciation. Just like with Remy. I was single for 20-something years. I've dated 5 women that had their mothers and fathers in the house growing up. There's a difference. There's a level of respect and reverence, and most other cultures have that. That's why they're more accommodating. You see these athletes get these white girls because these white girls catch their ass early. And just like I tell you, they going out there getting them athletes Panera bread. They rubbing their feet. The black girls out there trying to play at JKA, trying to get their degree. They ain't worried about it. Their mama told them, girl, you don't need no man right now. You need to get your education, which, okay, I get it.
They
But
got to
then
compete.
getting your education till you're 35, and now you're jumping out there, you're in a rush, you're trying to have some kids, the ones you really want gone. Because I'm going to tell you, ladies, smart men get married young. You can believe me if you want to. Smart men get married young.
Okay, hold that thought right there. So you just I'm glad you told that story right there about the young lady up in Lansing who was, had a good attitude, who was taking care of y'all. So I'm coming straight to Isha on this one. So Isha, I'm coming straight to you. So my question for you is, are there not still black women out here who do that same exact thing that Vince just described that the young lady was doing in Lansing? Ain't they still out here somewhere?
Me.
Okay.
Absolutely. I will say that. I do all of those things for my husband and anybody he care about. That's anybody that's around. If we have family around, his family's around, that's what I do. That's what I always have done. I don't care if we mad at each other. We didn't had an argument before I go to bed. We may not be talking. I'm going to get his breakfast ready. I'm going to get his lunch ready. I'm going to prep meals. I'm going to do everything that I would do as if we was cool, kicking it, on a day-to-day basis. That's what I do, right. And it's not, I can't even say that my mom did that. I saw my mom and my father at a young age, and she did the same things, but they separated when I was young as well. And that stopped. But I remember those things. And I remember how that made my dad feel, when she would do it. But I would say, I'm not even going to say I did it or I do it because of that. I do it because I appreciate my husband and what he does. And, just being the head of the household and how he protects me and makes sure I'm good. You know, I ain't got to go get gas. I don't got to go wash the car. I don't got to go do the oil change. I don't have to do those things. So for me, that's the least I can do, is make sure that when he get home, he can come home and chill out. So okay. I would say, yes, it is still women out there.
Okay, so let me ask this as well. Let's see. I'm glad you said what you just said. So why do you think that a lot of black men today, I feel confident saying this, why do you think that a lot of black men today feel like women like you or what you just described don't exist? Like, why do you think we feel like y'all like this unicorn, like y'all ain't out here no more? Like, where do you think, just from your opinion, where do you think we may get that from?
I think a lot of the men nowadays, they're moving too fast. They're not taking the time to slow down and get to know a woman. You judging her. She might be the McDonald's woman. She might be the Checkers woman. She might be the Walmart woman. But they be so busy out looking for the baddie, you know, that they look over the wife.
Huh. Okay, so you say we just missing her. We missing
her. They missing her.
Huh. Okay. I ain't mad at that right there. I appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I knew you was gonna break that down. Go ahead, Coco.
It's cool.
All right, no, I appreciate it. Go ahead, Coco.
So since Mr. Quay Price kind of put me on blast in the last segment, Thomas, he needs to tie this back in. Is this the area where people got to grow up? I feel like I must revisit this because this is the area where indeed I have to grow up, because I'm petty as hell. I'm petty as hell. And I personally still feel like I don't agree with the fact that y'all, the cream of the crop, y'all be the cream of the crop in the community, got yourself together, you know what I'm saying? And then y'all pull up with Basic Becky. I don't care. I'm petty.
Oh, come on.
I'm looking at you all kinds of sideways. Okay, I'm just gonna let you know. I'm not looking at you sideways because you stepped outside the community. I'm looking at you sideways because I'm like, she should have been 10,000. That's what she should have been. She should have been at 10,000. That's how I feel. Y'all can feel how. Look, you can agree or disagree with me.
No, but most men are not married to a 10,000. Most men are not married to a 10,000.
You can disagree with me. It's okay. I'm okay with that. But you're not gonna change my feelings on this, because I feel like if you stepping outside of the community and you ain't married a black chick, then she should be.
All right, Coco. Remember, Travis. Travis Kelce was dating that black girl, and she was really, really attractive, right? Remember that black girl that Travis Kelce was dating, and she was really hot. Guess who he picked? A stick pole called Taylor Swift.
Exactly.
Because she's nicer than her. She's nicer. Yeah, she is. She's nicer. She's happier and bubblier, and I guarantee there's a lot of peace. Taylor Swift's giving him a lot of peace.
You can't make this shit up.
She's giving him a lot of peace.
People that are a much different level. We are talking about people that are on a much different level than we're on, right? Like, I have a different theory about why he ended up with Taylor. Same reason why she on every jumbotron every time she go to an NFL game. There's a different reason why he picked her. He didn't just pick her because she was nice.
On base what they like.
Okay.
Tingle. Men like to tangle. Men like to tangle. I'm sorry.
He didn't pick her because of that. Because from what we hear about Taylor, she actually ain't nice. But we'll go in and we'll just leave that where it's at. So,
but Coco,
like
most men that you will see.
Hold on, Vince. Let her get this out, Vince. Then I'm gonna come to you, man. Let her get this wrap. Go ahead, Coco.
So, like I was saying, this is clearly an area. I can see that this is an area where clearly I have some more growing up to do. Okay, because I am petty boots. I just personally feel like she should be a 20. Y'all not gonna change my mind about this. You're not gonna change my mind. And this is why. Because I feel the same way about a black woman. I feel like if you're going to step outside of the community and not choose a black man, a man that was made for you, then that other guy better be like the bomb. Like he should be firing on all cylinders because you decided to not be with the man that was created for you. You decided to be with another man, and that's cool. So that means he must be like the bomb. He gotta be. That's how I feel. So if I gotta grow up, I gotta grow up. I never said I was perfect.
I don't think you're wrong, sis.
Huh?
But
I don't think you're wrong.
I think you're
right.
wrong.
I
I'm
think
gonna
you're
tell you
right.
why. I'm gonna tell you why. Let me finish. I'm gonna tell you why. Most men are on that you're talking about on the level that you want them on ain't picking for looks. Number one, Michelle Obama is not attractive. She's not. Come on now, she's about a 4.
She's a 5 at best.
I don't disagree.
Denzel Washington's wife is not a 10. Samuel Jackson's wife is not a 10.
Bruh.
It's so
But
many.
that's not what she said.
Wait a minute. Kwame Kilpatrick's wife was not a 10. They're picking for somebody who's going to cooperate with them.
Okay.
So if you talk about the looks, and most black women pick a white man, he don't be Brad Pitt either.
I just said that. I just said on both sides.
But she picks him because he's probably a provider. He's probably so men. So you gotta understand why we are picking these women. It's not about their looks. These men that you really want are picking for legacy. They're picking on a woman that's going to get on his page and be fine with it. He's not going to pick the one. I really don't want to be a wife. I really don't want to be your. I want to be your partner. I want you to. The type of man you want don't want that. They want you. Look, get on my page. That's all you need to do, and you'll be fine. I gotta know what's going. That's why you get picked over.
I hear you, Vince. I understand what you're saying to me. But what I also know to be true is that a lot of men, and B-Boxer just said it, they want the woman that makes them tingle. So this is all I'm saying. This is my point. We can't say I want the woman that makes me tingle and then have black men by the droves get on Donald J. Trump's internet and critique black women from the top of their heads to the soles of their feet, only to then turn around and pick Basic Becky. This is the point that I'm making. Y'all got to feel the point that I'm making. I don't disagree on the personality. I already conceded that when we're talking about personality, I agree that's a different ball game. But if we're talking about how black women get critiqued about their looks by black men, then I want y'all to keep that same energy when you go out there and you get stringy haired Basic Becky. I want you to keep the same energy. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that she might be wonderful personality. She might have a great sparkling personality. But let's just be so for real. Let's be for real though. Because I personally think that we grade each other on a higher scale than we do the others. Men and women. Right. I feel like when a black man is entertaining a black woman, he is grading her on a different scale than he do. That's why he ended up with Basic Becky.
Facts.
Okay? I'm not saying that the black chick that he ends up with is a 20. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that that's the case in every situation. I am not saying that. Not. I'm simply saying that when he do end up with the black chick, she ain't gonna be a 5.
She's probably gonna be overweight.
Basic Becky, though, however, can be a 3 or a 4. On the Becky
She's gonna
scale.
probably have a kid or two.
Michelle Obama is a 4. Michelle Obama is a 4 married to the greatest man in America.
We're not talking about Michelle Obama
big
because she's
booty.
an old man. Let's get back on topic. We're talking about men and women.
Oh, come on.
So if we're not talking about men and men right now. We're talking about men and women.
Exactly. So that proves my point. It ain't about really
Okay,
about no
because that's
20.
2 men. That's a different conversation.
Wow.
Stop.
Wow.
Ooh, don't do
If
that.
we're talking
Yo,
about
what just happened? Yo.
Don't do that, Chloe. Don't do that. At least
Keep
I
it in
mean,
the
y'all
buck.
I'll
brought
give
Michael
her.
up. I wasn't talking about Michael. Y'all brought up Michael. I was talking about Basic Becky. Y'all brought that up. Now y'all don't know how I feel about who Michael really is because I don't talk about it. I keep that to myself. But if y'all gonna bring Michael into the conversation, then we gonna talk about Michael. But we talk about Michael, that's another topic.
Okay.
All right. There's a reason why. There's a reason why Michael is a 4. Anyway,
Ooh,
like, when y'all step outside,
Okay, cutting up.
I feel like y'all don't grade with the same grading scale. That's just my personal
But
opinion.
let me ask you this, Chloe. You actually you're making a point that you're saying a lot of black men who end up with white women are getting with average looking white girls compared to a, let's say, an 8 or a 10 black girl in comparison. But you have to understand, like what the men have been trying to say this whole time is that there are a lot of black men are willing to sacrifice 3 or 4 points on the look scale in order to get an 8 or 9 or 10 in the personality and vibe scale. That's worth the sacrifice. Even though you say, we're visual creatures, yeah, of course we want the most beautiful woman that we can get. But when you're treated a certain way, when you're taught to a certain way, when Vince had experience, he still has that memory from, I don't know, that probably happened, what, 20, 30 years ago? But it's still a core memory. Like it's like, whoa, he would rather get with something like that, which he has now with his wife now. But I bet when he had that experience, he's on that eternal search for that type of woman, not necessarily the looks. He didn't mention the looks of the woman. That's the one thing he pointed. I noticed he did not mention how she looked, which is irrelevant to how she made him feel, how she treated him. So you're right. A lot of black women, they got nicer bodies. They come from Africa, right? You look at African women, they have nicer derrieres, nicer chests, bigger lips. But a man would say, you know what? They look good, but they don't feel good. And can I see myself living with this woman for the rest of my life? Then they'll go to the, as you call them, basic Beckies, who are 5 or 6 on the look scale, but 8, 9, and 10 in the personality and energy scale. It's worth the sacrifice.
So Joe, I understand what you're saying. So I understand what you're saying right there.
I said what I said.
No, hold on. I understand what you're saying, Joe. You making a valid point. I think we still have to maintain the context though. If I think what Coco is saying is that's not always what's happening. And I think what she's also saying is a lot of those women that we're saying are maybe more basic in the looks, but they're so much nicer in the personality and the treatment. That's not always the case as well. So I think what the issue is why can't we search for that in somebody that looks like us? Why do we present it like that only exists, or it's so much easier to find that in a different race? Yeah, I think that's the issue.
Because it's just more, it's not impossible to find because Isha is obviously one of them. It's that they're much more difficult to find. They're not as easy as, it's like, I hate to use the comparison, finding a needle in a haystack. But when you come across a black woman with that character, that personality, that's what I was looking for, character, personality, energy. Um, it's like, whoa. But when you come across white women, it seems to be not all of them, obviously, but they're much more easily available. They're much more accessible. It's like there's more of them, whereas you have to work a lot more to find that in a black woman. I know ideally, as men, we want the best of both worlds. We want a woman who looks 8, 9, and 10, and it looks 8, 9, and 10 in personality, and character, and personality, and morals. But we will make those sacrifices and we will say, well, you know what? I can't find my preference as a black woman. You'll hear a lot of black men say that it was my preference. And so I was forced to look outside elsewhere based on the energy I would get from women elsewhere. For example, just the other day I was out doing some work and I would go to a Bucharest grill in a Grosse Point, and behind the counter is all black women. They have the scowls on their face. They're not very pleasant, not super friendly. They're nice enough. They're doing their job. But then I go to a little bit further away, just 1 mile down the block, and it's ran by all white girls. And the energy, the way they're treating me is different. Now, it's not that those white women look better than a black woman. In fact, black women were more attractive physically than the white woman I met. But I felt more drawn to the white woman who was much more pleasant, much more smiley. It's just like an energy that comes with it. Even if they're just doing their job, they're doing it exceptionally well. So even if they're pretending to like you more, it feels better. So and yeah, we come across those who are black, absolutely. But when we do, you see a lot of them. They get snatched up. They get snatched up real quick. It's just that they're not in that same abundance that I would experience observationally and from my own experience and from a lot of black men experience that I know as friends. It's just they're just easier to find amongst, and not just white women, but other ethnicities of women. But when we find them in a black woman, man, we snatch them up. Oh, was she? Wow, she's not like that hood. That guy in the barbershop. Wow, I actually found. I'm gonna marry her. She's the one. That's what Vince did. So you see, it's not that they don't exist. How prevalent are we likely to come across those type of women who look like us? It's not as often as I would like.
But Joe, you just made my point. I don't know if you caught it. So you just gave an example, a reference, and you said she's not like that hood chick. See, that's conditioning. Now, Isha just talked about this. She just talked about the fact that that woman that we talking about we can't find, she might be the hood chick. Yeah, she might be working at Walmart. She might be working at Checkers. But you see how we unconsciously think those things? This hood chick, this ghetto chick, she for the streets. Like you see how we just unconsciously think that, and we don't even catch that we do that. So see, do we ever consider that maybe that conditioning that we have is kind of jading how we
Reality.
see some of our women, and that may be why we can't find the women that do some of these same things that we think that we gonna get from these other races. See, we got to consider that. That's wrapped up in there, where we don't acknowledge that. Yeah, it just takes place in our subconscious. We just move day to day, and we move how we want to move, but we don't even realize that that's how we feel when we see one of our women working at, like you said, at the Bucharest, and you said she had the scowl on her face. They might have just pissed her off. We ain't even consider that. But it's like she reminds us when we see that face, she remind me of this little hood chick that pissed me off a couple weeks ago. So I'm just going to go ahead and label her up and move on to the next one. And see, that could have been the one where we could have took 5 minutes to say, what's going on with you, sis? And she might have been like, man, these fools over here messing with me. And you might have been like, you know what? It's all good. Let's chop it up. And that might end up being your wife. So I'm just saying, I know that doesn't apply to every scenario. But I think if we're talking about growing up, we at least have to consider that. Yeah, we at least got to consider that.
Subconscious bias. So you're saying there's
Say that
and
again.
that's the part. You're saying that there's a subconscious bias, that there's a strong case for it, and I'm not disagreeing with you on that. And me personally, I haven't even thought about it until just right now. It's not like I go in thinking, "Oh, here we go again," or I see black women's face, but I already know what to expect. I'm not. My mind is blank. I'm working. I don't care. I
Yeah, I
just want
feel
my
you.
food. So it's like it's an experience that happens outside of myself, but I'm not thinking in my mind how black women, how what I've seen growing up. I don't I don't at least I do the best I can not to put them all in that same box as I've gotten older. The traumas and things like that. Again, and I've met a lot of black women who are like I guess the Beckys or whatever, in terms of character and personality. That they're darker skin color. So, and but I'm not thinking to myself, oh wow, I'm shocked. I'm just thinking like, oh, this is just what I like in the women. Just in general. I don't care what color skin they are. It's just it's if they still happen to look like me, they're not pleasant. I don't like them. If they look like White Becky and they like trailer park trash, I don't like her either. I've met a few of those like that. It's like, yeah, you too much air. You got you got all that ghetto talk. You talk, nah. I don't care what color skin you look like. So my mind is blank as much as I believe it is. going into a situation with any ethnicity woman, and I like to believe that I'm giving every woman a fair shake. I let them show me who they are, but I'm not going to try to psychoanalyze each every woman who I
Oh,
come
come
across who
on.
looks like me. Oh yeah, she might be having a bad day, and I mean, look, you doing your job. I'm supposed to care that you're having a bad day, or you're supposed to make sure that I'm walking out as a happy customer. If you don't like your job, leave. That's just my mindset because that's
That's
the way I
that's
did
that's
things.
not what I'm saying, man.
Amen.
That's not what
You
I'm
can
saying.
walk
I'm
in
saying
Whoa.
having a bad
I'm
day
speaking
though.
to a relationship.
Be positive.
Go ahead,
Y'all be
Issa. What
hard.
you say? What you say?
I
What
said
about
as
you,
a
Joe?
customer, it's not always the person that's serving you. Sometimes we walk in and we having a bad day. But I notice
Attitude.
a lot of times that if you walk in, you don't know what type of day they're having. It could have been something that's going on outside, and you shouldn't bring it into work, but oftentimes we do. But just saying something kind or being nice or kind to that person may bring that down. They may be hyped up when you get in there, but you may say a couple of things to them like smile. And oftentimes they're going to smile. So you can't look at it that way all the time. We have bad days as consumers. They have bad days as customer service reps or whatever. So we have to look at it both ways.
Then
I think also,
I think the problem is also that men are tired of being your therapist. We tired of these Tyler Perry movies where he got to jump through
Oh,
hoops and
come
break
on.
down walls, and we ain't got time for all that. We gonna find somebody that's gonna get on our program. That's gonna do what we need to do. We ain't got no time to be Tyler Perry.
I got a question for you, Vince.
Come
What
on.
do we get after that?
What's
What do we get
what's
after
Come
that?
with
on.
this all this? A woman got to get on your program.
She gotta get on my
What that
program.
mean?
She gotta
Explain
get on
this.
my program.
What's your program?
Okay, let me tell you this here. My program is my vision and my purpose for our lives.
Great. That's it.
Now, if she wanted, like I take her, I take her input on it, but she on my vision because I got a vision, I got a purpose, I got a legacy. So either you
Is
gonna
this
get
like
on
a
that
black
program
man
or you
thing
not.
though?
And those are
That
the
come with
and
this
see,
attitude?
those are the men that y'all want. Y'all won't provide us, protect us, 6-figure, so I don't have to. But you got
They
to
gotta
get
be
on my
masculine.
program.
They gotta be
You got to get
masculine.
on the plan.
Okay,
I can't have
I
you
wanted
spending
you
the
to
church's.
explain to me. I
I can't
swear
have
you
you
kept
spending the
saying it.
church's money when I tell you this is how much we can spend. I can't have you if
Mm.
we got kids. Them kids is your number one priority. I can't have you. Oh, I don't want to be at home watching these kids. I want to go out here and work for $20 an hour so I can feel like I'm doing something. You are doing something. You my wife and you these kids' mama.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay,
women
I
don't want to.
digress.
Women don't want to hear that. They want. I want to go to. I hear so many women. Your wife don't work. What she do all day? Really? She don't. She's fulfilling our purpose.
Okay,
And see, those are the men that you want. But see, I understand that so many women haven't seen that type of man. They haven't experienced
true.
that type of man. So the
That's true.
first thing they gonna go to is, girl, what if he leave you? Girl, you better get something on the side.
Cole had a question she had a question I really want to hear her ask. She was asking it if she wanted to ask it again. It was an
You said
interesting
Cole or
question,
Coco?
Cole.
Cole.
It's
Cole.
gonna be a nuke.
Go ahead, Cole, and I'm gonna come up to Coco after that. Go ahead, Cole.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, my question is like I can understand getting on the program, but like it's kind of like the attitude behind it. Is that to me? I feel like that's like a. Unfortunately, I feel like I hear a lot of that just in our community. I don't feel like it has to be stressed so much with others, and I'm just wondering why that is. Like I get the message, but I just don't know why. I feel like in our community it comes with so much like extraness. I don't know what other words to say, but
So
I'm
what you
like I
saying?
get
Like
it.
it's you saying like it's over the
Because it's
top, it's
different.
aggressive. Like what
Because
you
it's
Yes,
saying?
different.
yes. I'm like I get the message. I get what you're saying.
He's a man. Yeah, we're gonna have more aggressive, assertive way of speaking. So it's not gonna be always like this sweet kind. Yeah, I want my girl to be on our program. I mean, honestly, if you heard him
I'm
speak
not
like that,
saying that.
I
You
mean,
can be
if he
stern.
spoke, if he spoke in that kind of like, "Gee, I want her to be in my," you would not take him seriously. So, I mean, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of tension there when you hear it. Oh my, but you don't disagree with what he's saying. Which I think is the main point. And as long as he's not abusing her, which I'm definitely assuming that she's not being abused, then
What I'm
everything
saying,
is fine.
well, maybe it's a follow up. Like, I guess maybe the question is, why does it have to be said in such a way? Like, why does it have to be said, I guess, in an extra way when it should be a simple message? Maybe because there's so much resistance.
But
I
it's
don't
not
know.
simple, Cole. It's not simple
Mm,
because you got to understand our culture. And I always tell this the time I had to check my mama. My mama, I had to check.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna say this because we got new people on the panel. I have older kids, and then I have kids with my wife. My daughter was making my plate one time, and my mother was, "Why you making his plate? He can make his own plate." And I had to tell her, "Look, who else plate she should be making but her father, the one that takes care of her." Yeah, but I don't want her to be no servant to no man. This was my mother, who I would call and she would do anything for me. But she's trying to teach my daughter, don't serve a man. But
Is
the
that
thing
black
about it is
woman,
you
right?
gotta teach them how to serve the right man. That's the key. And
mm,
since she hadn't served the right men, and this is my mama, I can say that she's died and gone to heaven because
Hmm.
of the choices that she's made. She served the wrong one. So yeah, you shouldn't have served them. Choices that she made. So I think that our culture, and it's not getting any better. It's just not, especially with us. We think, we talk about this partner thing. No, we want husbands and wives. All this partner. I want a partner. I want a partner. You want a husband
Oh,
or you
come
want a
on.
wife? And you wonder why you can't make it work for 5 minutes. Wonder why you divorced me because I'm not happy anymore. I'm not fulfilled. I don't feel like a whole person. Even though I got a husband and 2 kids, I'd rather break my family up so I can feel that I'm a strong black woman. Don't listen to your black. Vote against what your black man telling you to do. You your own woman. Can't depend on him no way. That's our culture. That's just what it is.
So that's real right there. Go ahead, Coco. I'll let you respond. Go ahead. You on mute. Come off mute. Coco, come off mute. Come off mute.
Thanks. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm tying it back into the topic. Like, is this another area where we have to grow up as Black people? Like, is this another area where we've said a lot about the dynamic in the Black home growing up, right? And we recognize that, unfortunately, a lot of us growing up didn't have that example of a married couple or even just a couple that stayed together, had their children and raised them together. And we're recognizing that that has not been the majority of us, right? So if we recognize that and we can see that, then is this an area where we have to grow up and we have to stop using this, Black men, stop using it as a justification as to why you find Black women lacking? And Black women, you have to stop using the fact that some Black men didn't have a father to mentor them growing up as a reason as to why you feel Black men are insufficient. Is this an area where we have to grow up and we have to recognize that this is our circumstance? We didn't get to pick it. We didn't get to choose it. The people who grew up in a single parent home, they didn't get to choose whether or not they grew up in a single parent home or not. That wasn't a circumstance that they chose. That was the hand that they were dealt. So at what point do we stop holding that against each other? And do we go, okay, I understand you're going to have some deficiencies. I mean, I have a few myself. So how can we come together and try to grow together, mature together, learn together, because we both recognize that we have deficiencies. Like, I feel like this is an area as in a Black community where we need to grow up. Like, we're talking about these other communities, you know, Caucasian communities and the like. We're talking about these other communities and how they had all these examples. Okay, they had those examples, and you know, that is great. And we recognize how awesome that is. That's not our circumstance by and large. And if that's not our circumstance, then how long are we going to hold that against each other? Like we are the ones that can, like we had a choice in the matter, right? The people that we're supposed to be choosing were our parents. And clearly they didn't make the best choices. But it is what it is at this point. We can only live in the consequences of the situations that we were put in, right? So instead of blaming each other over and over again in a circle and in a cycle about this, at what point do we grow up and say it's best for us in a Black community to try to repair the fact that we don't have strong families to lift up and prop up our community? And let's start building those strong families, right? Let me look at you and say, I know you're not perfect. And I understand that you didn't learn these things growing up, but it's not too late. You still have breath in your lungs. You can still learn now. You can learn, right? Like, don't get me wrong though. This does mean that women are going to have to be more receptive to learning and taking correction. And that's a problem in and of itself. And men are going to have to recognize that they too need to learn, right? I think sometimes as men, it's hard for men to accept that there are some deficiencies, right? Because I'm a man and I was taught to be a man and I need to, you know, be a leader and I need to be in charge. But we've pointed out on this show before that not every man is a leader. Not every man knows how to lead well, right? That does need to be groomed. That does need to be taught. You do at least need to have an example of someone who was a good leader and, you know, could pour into you so you can understand what good leadership looks like, right? I do believe that men were born into a leadership role, but that doesn't mean they're good at it. Just because they were given the responsibility of being a leader doesn't automatically mean you're good at it, right? Like, let's just be honest. Some men are great leaders, but we've come across, I'm sure you've seen some men that you've been like, it needs work, right? So I think that at what point do we say as a Black people, it's just healthier for us, it's more productive for us, it's more profitable for us to get over this this push and pull that we have between each other about what women don't always know how to nurture. They don't, it's there, it's supposed to be innate. But I am learning that the things that I thought, right? Stay with me for a moment, hear me out. The things that I thought should come natural to a woman, I am now learning in my big old age that it doesn't come natural for every woman. I am on social media realizing that there are women teaching women on social media hygiene. Hygiene. Like, there's a whole movement of women teaching other women how to properly clean their bodies. And I'm realizing that while I thought this was, doesn't everybody know this? Doesn't all women know how to do this? And I'm realizing that there's a subset of women who were not taught by their mothers or didn't have a mother figure that actually poured into them to teach them these things. So now some of these women are in their late 20s, 30s, some of them in their 40s, and they're taking tips online about how to properly clean themselves. And it blew my mind because I'm like, wow, y'all don't know how to do this? So it just goes to show you that while we're thinking that these things should come naturally and that people just should know, a man should just know everything he needs to know about being a man. Well, where was he supposed to get it from? And at what point do we go, okay, maybe he just needs time to, to learn, because he didn't learn it at the time where he was supposed to be learning this. Does that make him now a bad man? Or you know what I'm saying? Is he not, now husband material? Is he not, should we now just throw him away? And I think that's what Quay was saying about a woman. Like, she might be rough around the edges. Do we just throw her away? Or if she's willing, can she be reformed? Right? Like, is this an area where as Black people, we have to grow up?
Right. No, that's real. Let me let you get one in, JR. I saw you coming off mute. Go ahead, then let me hit the next video, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Miss Coco made some great points there, and for the longest, we know that obviously there's been issues, obviously in the Black community and whatnot, right, between both sets of genders doing things to each other, pointing things at each other and whatnot, and I think the problem that we're having is that for the longest, I don't know these generations, right? I'm 30, 29, 30, right? So my generation, we've been seeing a lot of things that have gone wrong in the community, right? And we've been speaking, voicing our opinions to try and make things right. Like I always say, we don't want to be like our fathers of the yesteryear. We've seen the things that have gone wrong, the things that they've done, how they treated the women in our lives and whatnot, right? So whether we've seen it or not, cool. We're not going to be disingenuous and not say that nothing happened. So we understand that as Black men, and we do give grace, a lot of grace, to the women in our generation. But the one thing is that we don't get grace from the Black women in our generation, on top of the disrespect. Now, I'll make the point again. A couple of weeks back, our great uncle sat here and he told his daughter, you should be resistant towards a Black man. So now, Miss Coco made a point about women being receptive. How do we overcome that point if we are speaking and we're saying, hey, we understand what's going on, we're willing to give you the grace, come back, let's start again, because like I said, we as men, we've acknowledged what's going on. One of the points was made about young men, not being masculine enough or whatever it is, etc., right? And Miss Coco made a point on that as well, in the sense of, men battling their egos or pride or whatever it is. Men of today are willing to understand. Like I said, we don't want to go back to the yesteryear and be like our fathers. So why can't they see this, that we actually want to make things work? But like I said, there's people that are in women's ears and telling them not to be receptive towards Black men. But somehow we want to group the whole problem towards the generation of today and say, hey, there's problems. Yes, we know we've both got problems and we are willing to sort out our problems. But sometimes it might not take an individual. It might take two people to come together. And especially for the Black community, for where we are today, we might have to come and do it together instead of individuals in order to fast track what we need to get to. But the ladies don't see that. They don't want to be receptive to that message. Like Miss Coco said, the ego, no, we ain't here to fight you. We actually want to be and actually protect you better than the men of the yesteryear. And we don't want to create the same patterns. We want to be there for our kids. We don't want to do the whole single stuff. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that, like Mr. Vince said, let's get a program going. Now, like I said, for us Black people, not many people can be able to do it as an individual. So yes, the program is not going to be the same as Mr. Vince's for a lot of men. We've got to be realistic. So a lot of men know this. But the men still understand that I still have to provide and protect as best as possible. Yes, a lot of men are going to be learning on the job. And yes, a lot of women are going to be learning on the job. But like I said, we have to be willing to give each other grace from both sides. But men are granting too much grace but women don't want to grant the grace for a man to learn on the job. We know women aren't perfect. We know this. But the pressure of a man to have to be perfect is not right. Now, I'm not saying that men aren't willing to strive to get there. Most men want to be, you know, the best man they can be in order to provide the best life they can for their missus and the kids. But like I said, we need to understand the basic thing of today. We actually need to come back together as a unit. First thing first, that's what the mindset has to be. If that's not the mindset, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, no, that makes sense right there. I appreciate that. All right, let me run this next one. I think Cole, let me see. I think Vince sent this one over. Is that Vince on here? Okay, there you go. All right, let me run these last ones. I said we'll get into these and then we'll get on up out of here.
With our very own Susan Smallwood here with us for a speed date assessment.
I love this. And she looks good.
Yes.
Okay, let's get into it. What's your name, girlfriend?
Susan Smallwood, the Grand Caviar Queen.
You got personality. That is always a great thing. How old are you?
57 years old.
Okay, what kind of man are you looking for?
I'm looking for a man that's a provider, a protector, who does not mind my shine and not intimidated by my shine.
Okay, provider, what do you mean? How much money does he got to make to provide for you?
6-7 figures minimum.
Well, that's the problem. Okay, now, are you the only person that he got to sleep with, or could he have sex with other women too?
Well, you know, that's a good question because I was in a relationship with someone that was providing for me, and I do not agree with a man that I'm in a relationship with to have sex with other women. I'm at the point in my life, listen, as long as you're taking care of me, you can go do what you want to do.
Okay, I want to say this. A lot of my seasoned women, I like to say, they're more open-minded now. Like, listen, child, because I can't do it every night.
And
so,
look, for real.
Like, you know, so if you're paying all of my bills, I can now take that deal. So you're saying, because only reason I said that is you said 6 figures or 7 figures. This is a millionaire we're talking about. So not all men, I don't want to say this, ladies, not all millionaire men have more than one woman, but a lot of them do. A lot of them do. So I wanted to know if that was a deal breaker for you or not. But you're saying you're open to that.
Yeah, it was at one time, but now with the way the world and the climate is, it's not a deal breaker.
Okay, should he look a certain way?
I have to be attracted to their heart and their personality and their energy. So I'm not superficial anymore.
Wait, hold up. Now, if he made $50,000, can you be attracted to his heart and his personality and his character?
Yes, as friends.
See, okay. I'm happy we got there because women always say, they say, oh, it's not about the money. No, it is about the money because the money is the entry fee. You can't even get to the heart if he don't make 6 figures.
That is true. And I hate to say, but it is a fact. It's not the only factor. It's not the first factor, but it is a factor. That is correct.
But it is the entry door factor. So we're going to put you on the Kendra G Singles dating app, and the gentleman that fits all these descriptions. Now, you got to have 60K or 6 figures at the door, not 60K. Well, 60K can't even meet a child.
I know.
Would you date a man?
Okay. So man, tonight we are still talking black people. Black people need to grow up.
What are they laughing about?
Listen.
This is embarrassing.
Nothing funny about what they was doing. I'm a 6 feet. I want to know. He got a head energy. I'm attracted to his heart energy, but if he ain't got the money, then I really am not attracted to the heart energy, like I just said a second ago. And 6-7 figures is what I'm. And they're laughing, and he got hired. I don't see what the joke. Maybe I wasn't in on the joke, but to me, it's like a sad comedy. If it is funny, it's like a really sad comedy.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Joe and Isha. It was nothing funny about that. I said once again, another example. This is why we're talking that black people need to grow up. So this lady was, I said, I think Vince sent this one over. This lady was 57 years old, clearly single. Talking about the fact that this guy need to be making 6 to 7 figures. Then she started talking about his heart and character and this stuff. Then she's talking about she don't care if he having other relationships or other interactions with other women as long as he taking care of her and paying the bills and all this. And I'm just like, once again, 57 years old, the first 2 things come out your mouth is provider and protector. It's like, how many times a day? Like, how many times a day do I hear that? I hear that same thing all day long, and it doesn't even matter the age. Yeah, so clearly it hasn't even changed at 57. Let's say 57, we round that on up. That's 60. And it's like you still saying and talking like the girls half your age. Yeah, it's just like, at what point are we gonna sit down and say to ourselves, like, we let me just keep it a blunt, like, we sounding crazy out here, like once again, what grown man? Because if she's just rounded up to 60, then she gonna be playing in the 55 to 75. She gonna be playing in there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like, what man in that age bracket who's retired, established, he might have properties, boats, summer homes, you name it. What man in that bracket is gonna hear this right here and be like, "Oh, this my lady"? Like,
Oh, you
what?
mean like Shannon Sharp? Like
Nobody.
Shannon Sharp. Who would go
Yeah,
for a younger woman?
it doesn't make sense though. It's just like we don't even think about. Well, maybe we do, because I did hear her say something in the video that I would like to ask. She did say when Kendra kind of called her to the mat, about the money and her trying to front like the money wasn't important and all that. She did come back and say, I hate to say that. And it's like, ladies, do y'all really hate to say it? Like, do y'all really hate to say some of this stuff that y'all say? Because it's like y'all say it all the time. So it's like, do y'all really hate to say it? Or is that just kind of, that's like a little jokey joke?
It's like
I
it's a
don't know.
term. I think a lot of women just say it because they know they're about to say some stupid shit.
Right.
So they started off with that, so they don't look as dumb as they're about to sound. Because the fact it's several things wrong with that. First of all, you're on the Kendra. What show was that?
That was Kendra G. She was on somebody else's show, but yeah, that was Kendra G. Yeah.
You was on Kendra G, whatever her name is, show. You look old. You wearing a curtain. You're 57. You talking about you want a protector and a provider, but he can be out banging long as he paying your bills. You want a sponsor. You don't want a man. You don't want a husband. Which is why you sitting on the show looking stupid and sounding stupid.
Yeah.
And see, the issue is the reason why I sent that over is the issue ain't what you want. The issue is, can you get it? And that's why I say it's over for these 35-year-old chicks. Because she maybe can say that when she was 27.
Oh, yeah, she could.
She maybe could say it because she's not a bad-looking woman. She look okay. But at 57, what 57? And then does she seem like the type of person that's going to get on the man's program? She want to shine. He gonna let me shine and do what? This man is a millionaire. What you gonna be doing? Sitting at home.
So let me ask you this, Vince. Let me ask you this real quick because I'm curious of something. I know we talking about black folks need to grow up. You just said that there's nothing wrong with what she wants, but it's can she get it? My question to that would be, honestly though, is there something wrong with what she wants, especially at her age?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At her age, yeah, because her standards are not realistic. And see, the problem is them ladies sitting up there laughing when they need to tell a girl, get your goddamn head out of the clouds. But of course, it's a show. People want to make it funny, laugh.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, I don't, when people tell me what there is, like somebody said, man, I want to be a millionaire. Okay, well, what's your plan? What are you going to do? If you talk about you want a millionaire guy, then you got to be what they want. And see, that's the problem. A lot of these ladies don't understand. I have to be what he wants to get that level of man. Yeah. But they don't want to do that. He got to do this and he got to let me shine and he got to be emotionally intelligent and he got to be a unicorn. And unicorns don't exist. We all just horses. We all got some shit coming out.
All just horses is hilarious.
We all just horses. Man, want everybody. Just like I said, everybody want a Russell Wilson. Yeah, and most Russell Wilsons ain't gonna take care of Future's baby. They not.
But see, you can't
Yeah,
say
it
that
just
either. But
yeah,
that's
no,
just
I
the
understand
truth.
what you're
Most
saying.
men on that level are not going to take care of future son when he can really go out there and get anybody he wants. So that's my point. That we got to be realistic in our standards, and that's why I say it's over for a lot of these ladies because they still dating like they're 24.
Why do they
Yeah,
do that?
that makes
I
sense.
don't
No, I
understand.
understand. Go ahead, Cole. I saw you come off, Cole. Go ahead.
I would say, first of all, the lady is a joke, and it's embarrassing. And I guess the question I would have is, why does she want this now? Like, is this a retirement plan? Because that's how I look at it.
Yeah, it partially is. It partially is. I think that's why she said she wouldn't have no problem with him, being out here physical with other women. But I'm glad you asked that question, Cole. With regard to the retirement plan, even the lady, what she said didn't make sense. And the reason I say that is because you're saying that you want a man that's making this certain amount of money, and you want him to essentially take care of you and pay all your bills, right? So in turn, you're not going to have any issue with him having other women and this and that. But that doesn't make any sense, because if this guy can have any women he want to have, then why would he stay around to pay your bills? Like that doesn't make sense. Because like I said, if you're saying that this dude can be out here with these other chicks, then you already validating that he's that dude, so he can get other chicks. So if that's the case, why would he stay around and commit to you to pay your bills and take care of you when he could just be with these other chicks and keep his money? Like that doesn't make sense. And that's why I said some of the stuff that we say, which is why we need to grow up, especially at 57. Some of the stuff that we say, it's dumb. Yep, and I don't even think we think about what we're saying or even put it in any type of realistic perspective. We just say it and hope for the best. Yeah, and it's like what you're saying or what you're thinking is possible. It doesn't even make sense, because that dude, he doesn't need you for nothing. You would just go get a couple little other ones to break him off, do what they do, and he'll buy them a couple Birkin bags. They'll shut up and go their way. He doesn't even need to entertain you as a 57-year-old woman, because you're not doing nothing special versus all these other women that he can have. So why would he even need you? But it's like we don't even think about that. We think it's all a joke. We think we just get up here and for some reason we think we dime a dozen and somebody gonna be running for us. But if like that's the case, then she wouldn't be saying this stuff at 57. She would be locked down and married by now. She wouldn't even be entertaining Kendra G. Yeah, we got to keep it honest. The reason why Kendra G even exists is because people need to grow up. That's how she even exists. Because they'll get on her show night after night after night saying the same type of stuff this 57-year-old woman is saying. And we laugh and kiki and all this and all that, and then folks go right back to being single and never improving their situation or actually getting the results that they want. So yeah, man, like I said, for me overall, man, we got to grow up, make some changes. Go ahead, Herschel. I saw you come off, man.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say she's gonna always be by herself because she don't have self-respect. I mean that's a big thing right there because and I mean maybe she's always been that way. I don't know, but I'm just saying from what I got off from that video. I mean when the lady asked her about, and other things, the lady even asked the question about what do you feel about him having other women or whatever. That's just crazy. We're just in this place now. That's an option. But anyway, for her to even ask that though, for her to even say that I don't care as long as he's doing this and doing it right there, then you don't even have self-respect, And so unfortunately, for her to find somebody ideal for her, for anybody in general, you gotta have a certain amount of self-respect for yourself first before you can even entertain a whole nother being to be living with. So I'm just a little disappointed in that piece. And then for her, the age she is, I'm thinking back to my grandparents and stuff like that, and I'm like, wow, like she's talking like she's like going through adolescence or something. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, no, it is, man. It is. Like I said, 57. Yeah, I would never expect. Listen, I don't know the lady personally, but I would never expect to hear that type of stuff from a 57-year-old woman. Like, that's supposed to be seasoned. That's been there and done that. Like, yeah, it sounds wild to me. Go ahead, beatbox, and then we're gonna hit this next one, and we're gonna get up out of here, man.
Yeah, I'll be quick. Cause JR mentioned this in the last video, but it kind of just explains kind of where we're at. Because if the older generation is kind of talking like this, I mean, this is kind of what we see. So, and like JR said, there's a contingent of black men in our generation trying to like change that if we can. But it's hard when like your counterpart and the older counterpart saying, well, you know, he can cheat on me as long as he's making a lot of money and as long as he's doing this and that. Like, that's crazy. I mean, you got that, or you got the other extreme where like he can live with me, not pay any bills as long as he's making my left leg shake. Like, there is no median in a lot of these things. So it's unfortunate, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely unfortunate. All right, I got one last one, and we're gonna get up out of here. I think Cole sent this. So you still with us, Cole?
I'm still here.
All right. I think you've sent us a note. Let me see what you done sent.
New York and New Jersey, which we're all from, dog, a second job now is a necessity. Like, back in the day, you'll get a second job because you wanted a new car, or you'll get a second job to pay off this vacation or do. Now you need 2 jobs to maintain a standard of living. So now you're talking about bringing another human being into the world that's going to rely on you for every single thing.
That's more expensive for their formula, their clothes.
You can't take even the jobs that pay minimum wage. It's no kids in there. Think about what I'm saying. When we were young, the bad chicks worked at the mall. I'm going to the mall. They in there. Now those are grown-ups.
Grocery store.
Wawa.
70
grown-ups. Dunkin' Donuts. Grown-ups. Fam, they are outsourcing the jobs at a different type of rate. So now the 40-year-olds are working at Wawa.
But they have to.
They have to. Bro, I live in Wawa, right? So I could go on Wawa at 2 a.m. to get a coffee. Like they said in New York and New Jersey, which we are all from.
Okay. I'm coming straight to you, Cole. So where you coming from with this one? What you see?
From like the men's perspective, or like about the...
No, just in general. You saw the video, something sparked off. What happened? What you see?
Oh, I mean, it's true what they said, especially, you know, where I live, but I mean, things are definitely expensive. I mean, that second job thing is real, but I feel like it's a thing because people aren't working together.
That's true. That is true.
I agree.
How would that solve the economic issue?
Oh, sorry.
Wait, hold tight, Joe. Let me get Coco. Then I'm coming to you, Joe. Go ahead, Coco.
I agree. I think that's the issue, Cole. I think that the reason why our parents and I get it, guys, like, trust me, this economy is definitely different than the economy that our parents grew up in. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. It definitely is. But they probably were saying that what we're saying, our parents were probably saying that in comparison to their parents, right? So what I'm saying is we all have felt this generation over generation that it was so much easier for the generation that came before us, right? So taking that into consideration, I would say the thing that I know helped, you know, like my parents and like the married people that I was privy to growing up, was that they worked together. There were 2 people in that household that were helping, you know, whatever it looked like, right? Because every household has a different dynamic. But whatever that then dynamic was, they were working together to ensure the success of that household, right? Raising the kids, they worked together. Maybe that did mean that mom couldn't work because then you had daycare, and daycare was super expensive. So looking at mom's finances and saying, well, shoot, yeah, you working, but we using your whole check to put the kids in daycare. That doesn't make sense. So maybe you stay home and I'll work more hours, and then that way you can, you know what I'm saying, you can stay home, the kids are good, they're safe, they're being taken care of, whatever that looked like in each home, right? It looked different, but they were working together as a team to ensure the success of the household. And I just think that I don't see that. If you guys want to say partnership, right? To a certain extent, I do agree with the idea of a partnership because I think that's what a marriage is. Unfortunately, like everything else, we've taken the term partnership, and now instead of looking at it like we're a team. When I say partner, I mean my teammate, right? Now, when people say partner, they mean a business partner. Like they're looking at marriage as, yeah, that's my partner, as in that's my business partner. And when this business no longer serves me, I'm just going to leave like I would. And when this marriage no longer serves me like a business, I'll just, I'll just leave and I'll ask for a buyout. That's literally how they're looking at it.
That's facts.
When they say partnership now, they mean this is my business partner. And when this business, AKA marriage, no longer serves me, I'll just leave and take my buyout. That's literally how they're looking at it. So that's why we don't like saying the term partnership, because unfortunately it has taken on a negative connotation. But the truth is, we're supposed to be partners. We're supposed to be able to team up. You know, we're supposed to work together. You know, where I'm lacking, you fill the void. Where you're lacking, I fill the void. Like we're supposed to balance each other out. That's what made the people that came before us in their successful relationships successful. They worked together. That's what it was. And I do think that that's missing, right? I think if people had that and people weren't thinking, so individually minded, right? Like we're such individuals now. Like everybody literally, they're thinking my pension. Well, I don't want anybody to have access to my pension. It's like, if this woman is with you, if this man is with you and they've been with you and they've helped you build what you have, it's not your pension. They have a right to that because you probably wouldn't have it if they weren't there playing the role that they played. But we're so individually minded and we don't understand, just like with the two-step, when we used to social, now we hustle, just like that is creating a divide. And we don't see that, right? We don't see that you being so independent minded, this is why it's not working, right? This is why. So I think that if people would take a step back and look at the fact that this independent mindset is not a good thing. We've been brainwashed, right? Literally, the healthiest form or the healthiest or the most consistent or most successful path for us to build community has always been togetherness. It's always been unity. So why in the world we think we're going to have a strong community with good schools, with well-rounded children, when everybody is just doing their own thing? Nobody can work together. Nobody can come together. Nobody can get on the same page. And then we're like, we don't even have a community. What's the Black community? Well, yeah, because you worried about your paycheck, your house, your car, your job, how am I supposed to team up with that?
Right.
How can we get anything done? We can't get anything done. That's why you can't afford kids. Our parents wasn't just making a ton of money. Our parents weren't rich. They did it because they worked together. That's how they made having 2, 3, 4. Some people had 5 or 6, 7 kids. Now I don't understand. That's not my ministry. However, some people did that, right? But they were able to make it work because they worked together.
Oh, come on.
Okay, no, we appreciate that right there. Let me come to Joe. Joe, you was up next. Go ahead, man.
I would just echo everything that Chloe said, and what Cole said. It's just, I think it's unfortunate that a lot of people have this individualistic mindset in their approach to when it comes to family, which is it's oxymoronic because that's not it. You have an individual mindset, but then you want a family at the same time. it's they clash against each other, and so you have people who want to, achieve their own personal career ambitions, specifically women. They go to college, they get there, it's great, you got your careers and all that, but then the consequence, you graduate, of course you want to get a job that is in the field that you went to college for because you spent all that money, you got loans to pay back. So now you have to get a job. You can't not just, oh, I done graduated, I went through the process 8 years, and now I'm going to be a mother. You already in the mindset that I'm going to work and work and work. And so you come across a man who's working too, and the woman's already thinking, well, how are we going to do it? One of us is going to have to give and take, give and pull. Well, we can both do it. So they both do it. The lady gets pregnant, she takes a little maternity leave, and then she goes back to work. And then what does she end up doing? You end up pawning your kids off to some stranger, and they are strangers. Nannyism, they used to be a rich person thing, something that kings and queens did, and we don't want to. We have other more important things to do, and now it's been trickled down to the middle class and people who used to actually have families. You're paying other people to do your job while you're off working for someone else to pay you to do their job. So what's the point of even having kids? Because you feel like you want, and I think a lot of it also has to do with just lifestyle. It may not even necessarily be that people have to get a second job, is that they want to keep up with the Joneses. And then even more so today because of social media. Before you had the newspapers, oh, this celebrity doing this and that, but it wasn't so prevalent. Now your closest friend looks like they're having a ball in Bali. Oh, I got to
Right.
do that too. So now I got to go. So my girl, she got to get a job, and we want to start a family. Okay, well, how we gonna? Well, we both got to keep our jobs in order to keep this lifestyle that we've maintained before the kid even came to the picture. Very selfish. No one is willing to downgrade to where you can actually take care of the child and raise the child and actually be there to come home to the child and say hello. You got to go and drop the person off and then come back and they don't know who you are. Mommy and daddy is their nanny at the daycare center or
No, that's
even
real.
food. So I mean, it's not. I think people are using that as an excuse. You have to get a second job, but the reason why you have a lot of inflation is because people are buying a bunch of shit that they don't need, a bunch of stuff that I sell that I'm like, y'all don't need this stuff. But yeah, y'all willing to buy it. We don't need more than half the stuff we got. We think we
Right.
want. And then the material things, you get it, and then what? You forget about it. You look at it, damn, I spent X amount of money on this for what? That could have went to the baby schooling. That could have went to all types of things, investments to help you actually raise the child. But you was more concerned about the material thing or the appearance of a thing, the social lifestyle. Look at me, look at what I got. Because now you and the wife and you and the woman is both working, y'all both think y'all doing it big and y'all showing off and flexing, but it comes at a price, and we know what the price is, and that's broken families and broken communities. So
That's facts. That's facts. So let me ask this question because I'm starting to make an observation based on some stuff I've seen. So I'm gonna come out of left field with this, but it's based on my observation. Do you guys think that a lot of our people out here are single because they carry so much debt? Like,
no,
consider that for a minute. Just consider that. Let that sit for a minute. Do you think a lot of our people out here are single today because they carry too much debt? Go ahead,
they carry
Coco.
too much.
Go ahead.
I think there may be something there. Just I'm working through it though. So just hear me out. This could be a reason why a woman won't entertain a perfectly good average man because she needs him to be making a certain level of income because she knows that she's got debt. She's got school debt. And listen, this is not a dig at anybody. I'm not digging. I'm just working through this, right? She knows she has student loan debt. She knows that because she's been living on her own, she's also maybe amassed some,
Credit.
credit card debt because she's been living on her own. And so she's had to take care of things on her own. And that can get tough, right? So maybe she's had to rely on credit cards or things like that. Maybe she's even had to take out a loan or two. If she's a woman who's of the mind that, I gotta be girl got it going on. So I can't have just a simple apartment. I need to have a condo or I need to have a house. So now she has a mortgage that she's also responsible for. And because she's girl got it going on, I'm college educated. She can't just be riding around in a Corolla. She has to be in a Mercedes, right? So she knows that this is the lifestyle that she's built for herself. And she knows that in order to maintain this lifestyle in perpetuity, that she's going to need a man that's going to come in and that's going to be able to basically afford to take care of all of their responsibilities that they create together. So the house that they buy, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Things they might want to do together as they build their family, kids, whatever, because she knows that she's going to have her money tied up in all the stuff she's got going on. It's going to be tied up in paying those loans back. It's going to be tied up in paying that car note. It's going to be tied up in, paying off those credit card bills. If that's something that she's trying to be responsible now and do, it's going to be tied up in her continuing to do brunch every other week. It's going to be tied up in, she like bags and shoes. It's going to be tied up. It's going to be tied up in all of that. So he needs to be making a certain amount of money because he's going to have to take care of all the important stuff so that she can then afford to take care of all of her stuff. Right? And she wouldn't be making those kinds of decisions about men if she wasn't carrying the debt, if she wasn't carrying all that extra additional responsibility. That's really just too much for one person. Like, that's too much for one person. But because she's doing that, now she has to pick a man based off of the amount of resources he can provide, because she needs a man with all these additional resources to help her.
So you gotta keep digging.
And you forgot about the kids.
That too. That too.
They might not even be his.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
She's coming to the
Why y'all
relationship with
doing
a kid.
that?
That's what I'm saying. She's coming to the relationship with a kid, a 2, if you're a certain age.
Yeah, no, that's true as well. But yeah, no, that's something I've been observing, and I'm like, I wanted to pose the question because I'm like, it's tied to something. The fact that we are so money driven today. Yeah, just going back to the lady that was on the Kendra talking about she need this man making 6-7 figures. It's just like, how did that become the starting point when you're looking for a man? Like, how we get to that point? It used to just be, I'm looking for a dude that's got a good job. Because ladies used to say they love the hard-working man. Now it's done turned into he got to be making 6-7 figures. Now we up in the hundreds of thousands that he got to be making just to get your attention. And it's just like when I hear this type of stuff, I'm like, I'm wondering, is it affecting us being able to come together and find each other because we're tying it back to our debt? Yeah, because we got these 80, 90,000, 100,000 student loans payments that's got to be paid back, and these $1,400 a month mortgages and these $800 a month car notes, and we got to take 9 trips a week. And it's like your money is so tapped. It's like you feel like you can't even entertain the dude who probably was your husband. Like that regular working guy who gonna love you, who gonna love you to the end of time. Like you can't even entertain him because you need somebody to come in and connect with you and then start helping you pay some of your bills down. And I'm like, have we ever considered, if we were not carrying so much debt and digging ourselves so far into a financial bind, could we then open our minds back up to be able to see the type of people that could be your companion? Yeah, the type of people that could be your balance, the type of person who work hard just like you work hard, so they understand the value of a dollar and they ain't out here reckless, just like you ain't out here reckless, and they trying to build something with you and have something with you and go on vacations with you. And if the bills start getting a little high, we about to go get this White Castles and call it a night. Like that might be your guy, but you can't even see him because he didn't hit the salary requirement because you got yourself in $150,000, $200,000 hole already. Yeah, so I'm like, some of this stuff, like I know we talking about growing up tonight, but it's like I think we got to consider some of this stuff. Yeah, because I just hear too much money these days. Everything is money. I don't even hear character like that no more. I don't even hear if this person is nice anymore. It's just like we done threw that stuff to the side. It's like, how much money you make? That's probably like a first date question these days. Hey, how you doing? I'm such and such. I'm such and such. What you drinking? I'm drinking a vodka martini. Okay, I'm gonna give me a Corona. Okay, cool. How much money you make? Like that's what it seemed like now. Yeah, it's like ain't nobody asking no questions no more, trying to figure out what kind of person this is. Hey, is he nice? You know what I'm saying? Is he cool with his mama? Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? If somebody come in here and snatch me up, is he gonna throw the first punch? Like, we don't even ask them questions no more. It's just all about, hey man, how many hours you work, how much money you make. But I think that's because that debt be sitting in the back of our head the whole time. I think that's another reason why a lot of folks be talking about they don't want to waste out here, they don't want to waste no time. It's like, yeah, if you can't get to this money number, then you feel like you're wasting your time. So yeah, I think we got to consider some of that stuff. I really do. But I'm gonna take some clothes. I got to get us up out of here. We've been running. I'm gonna come across the top and the bottom, and we gone. Coco, you want to say anything before we get out of here for the night?
Yeah, I'll try to be quick. Yeah, I do think that some of the very topics that we talked about tonight, these are areas, where we need to grow up. I think that the way we are seeing the world right now is, I don't know. We got a lot of grown, immature people. You know what I'm saying? And I might be one of them. You know what I'm saying? Because basic Becky is really an issue for me. And I'm going to pray about it. But, yeah, like we got areas of concern. Like we do. We have some areas in our life, and I mean it. Like you may not be an immature person, but you really got to look at yourself and say, okay, is this an area where I need growth? Like I need reform in this area. Like I really do need to pay attention to it. And I think that the way that we communicate as Black people amongst each other, like just shows that we need to grow up. Like some of this stuff we get hung up on, some of the issues we have, even with each other and dating, like some of this stuff is valid. Okay. Some of the gripes for men is valid. Some of the gripes for women, they're valid. Right. But then there's some stuff that we just really got to grow up. We got to get over ourselves. We think way too much of ourselves, way too much, right? Like, and I think that we're just not realistic. I do not know. Somebody tell me, where did Black people get all of this self-importance from? Like we are, don't get me wrong, we are an amazing people. I really do believe in general, we are an amazing people. I really do think that. But let's just be for real, just for a second. We are still at the bottom of the food chain in this country. Now, should we be there? No. But are we there? Yes. And some of that is because of how we act. Some of it is because of how we carry ourselves, how the decisions we make. To be the largest consumer group, but be at the bottom of the food chain is crazy. That's showing that we're irresponsible as a community. We're irresponsible. That's the area where we need to grow up. Even if we say that these other communities have had help, which a lot of them have, and I get that, but they're just not making the same poor decisions that we're making. They're just not. So I feel like if we really want to see as a community ourselves grow, if we want to see the community get out of the rut that we're in, if we want repair in our communities, we want our children to be able to have more balance and be more well-rounded, then we have to start making those changes. We have to grow up. Like some of the stuff we're fighting about and going back and forth about, some of this stuff, like we need to just understand, like this. Listen, you're like this partially because you ain't never seen anything different. I'm like this because this is all I know. But that doesn't mean that I can't learn something different and you can't learn something different. Like we need to grow up. Like our stuff stink too. Like I said, I do not know where we think. I don't know when Black people start thinking so much of themselves. I'm sorry, but the stats don't say, listen, feel however you want to feel. The stats don't say you that. They don't say that. They don't say that. Black women, the stats don't say you that. They don't say that. Black men, we leaders, we this, we that. The stats ain't saying that somebody lying. I said, I'll land there.
Okay, appreciate that right there. Beatboxing, you want to say anything if we get out of here, man?
Yeah, I'll also be quick. Yeah, I mean, I think I've stated this a couple of times in when we've ended the live, but yeah, for a community to thrive, you need to have family. So it's really that simple. And until like both parties are willing to have a frank discussion about that and to move forward, like all this, a lot of the discussions that Black folks have is moot. We just have to get to the point where, hey, we want family. How are we going to get there? And that's about it, man. Like you can't do anything. It's hard to do things by yourself. It's easy to do things when both parties are, of one mind, and then it percolates to everyone else. So that's really what we got to do, and that's just how I feel about that.
No, that's facts, man. Definitely facts right there. Appreciate that. Ichi, you still with us? We lose Ichi?
Still here. No, I'm still here. I've been running back and forth, so I've been kind of missing.
No, it's all good. We about to get out of here. You want to say anything before we wrap up tonight?
Sis said it all. Coco, she nailed it, so she said it. So I don't have anything.
Okay. No, we appreciate it. I appreciate you hopping on with us. I see you definitely got to come back and join us again.
No problem.
All right, cool. Herschel, man, it's on you. You want to say anything before we get out of here, man?
Yeah, just piggybacking on the whole emphasis on family and just teaching these values as a community. We gotta, and we can't use the excuses of like broken homes or single parent homes. We still gotta have bare responsibility, for the kids, for the next generation. Because we're kind of almost failing in a way already with this whole just tablets and social media type stuff, where the newer generations they're wanting everything immediately and with less effort, little to no effort.
Right.
And so that's right there, that's immaturity already right there. So we're already losing the battle. We're already losing the fight, we're not going through the developmental stages appropriately. There's supposed to be a level of where we are immature, our brain's not fully developed. Then at a certain point when our brain's fully developed, it's supposed to be a certain level of intellect and maturity that we're supposed to have to be able to raise families, to support families, to live, to not die. You know what I'm saying? And to, but we're losing that. And so, but we can still do it. You know what I'm saying? Individual person that decides they want to have a family, or even just for themselves, we can always just look at ourselves in the mirror and just try to see how can I better myself. And then we should do that every day. Every day you wake up, say if you pray or whatever, you're getting dressed, whatever, you look in the mirror and you say, well, how can I better myself today? What can I do better? And then when you do that, if everybody do that, then, we get ourselves in that subconscious mode of thinking that way. And then we actually make better actions, we take better actions.
Thanks. No, that's facts right there, man. Appreciate that closeout, brother. Appreciate that. Vince, you still there, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I do think we all need to grow up. We all need to grow up in our mentality. I think we all need to do a self-audit and see where we at in life and what we want, especially for those of us who are on the other side. I'm saying 35, 40, and really understanding all that. What do we really want? What do we really need? What are we willing to really compromise to actually be with somebody? Because by the end, I don't know if it's really about marriage after you already got kids, and it's about the next stage in life. So I think we all got to grow up and be more mature.
No, that's facts, man. Appreciate that closeout. Cole, you want to say anything before we get out of here? She's still there? I might have lost Cole. Okay, let me come over to JR. JR, you in there, man?
Yeah, great show once again. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, Miss Coco hit the nail on the head, man. I guess black people are just some of the dumbest effers on the planet Earth, man. It's and obviously Miss Cole, I don't know if she's dropped off, but obviously, the community needs saving, man. And I want to know since the last show if my request to come back to the community and save it, if it's still denied or not. From your black queen, work this shit out, man. And
you can come back. You left me out. You left me out in the cold. You got it. They'll take it back.
Shit. Listen, my white girl left me, man. Listen, I'm back now.
Man, what is this, man? Y'all too, man. Y'all too, man. Oh, man. Is that all you want to say, JR? I see y'all, you and B-Bots going back and forth, man.
Well, yeah, I'll catch you next week and see if my request is still denied or not. But I do want to come and save the community,
All right, man. We appreciate the closeout, man. Y'all funny. Man, shout out to my panel, man. Shout out to Coco, Beatbox, and Herschel, my guy Vince. Shout out to JR. Shout out to Cole. I think I mentioned Isha and also Joe as well. Appreciate y'all holding me down on the panel, man. Definitely appreciate y'all. Listen, shout out to everybody in the comments as well. Man, this is Candid Convos, man. We do this show every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We go live on YouTube and Facebook, so definitely like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Smash that like button. Smash that like button. But, man, with that being said, everybody have an awesome night. We're going to catch y'all next Wednesday.